everybody, and I want to welcome everyone to the Spirits episode of the Booze Geek. My name is Charles, and I am your host. And before I get started, if you're new to the channel, well, please hit that subscribe button. And if you like the episode, well, hit that like button too. Give us a big thumbs up. And I'm going to thank you all in advance. So, this episode is actually part one of a two-part episode. However, at the end of this episode, I will explain why it's a two-parter. So I'm going to keep y'all in suspense, and you have to hang out to the very end to find out why. So I'm jumping right in. So what are we tasting on this episode? We are tasting and reviewing a bourbon from Four Roses Distillery, and they are located in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. So from Four Roses, this is their small batch Kentucky straight bourbon. Now, this bourbon clocks in at 45% ABV, and that gives it an even 90 proof. So, without further ado, we got a lot of ground to cover, so I'm jumping right in. Brand new bottle and all. Here we go. Let's pop the cork. Boom, boom. 1, 2. There's the pop, the bottle boom. And let's get a nice little Kentucky size pour. But we don't need that much because I always say with spirits, a little dabble do ya. There we go. That should do it. Get right back on there. So, let's look at this color on this bourbon. Small batch, baby. Ooh, that does have a nice color. That is a nice copper. That's a nice clear copper. Nice, lovely color. And we do have some legs on the glass. So, it might be a little oily here, but let's give this a swirl and let's give this bourbon a nose. Let's see what we got going on here, small batch and all. So, nose number 1. Ooh, okay, first and foremost, a little bit of heat, just a little bit of alcohol heat, but we also got, there's some dried fruit and just a little bit of spicy notes coming off. Not too much, but one more quick one. And a tad bit of that oak. But I'm going to swirl this, swirl. And here we go. Sip number 1 on the Four Roses, baby. Prost to the Four Roses. Here we go. Oh, that's tasty. However, now I will say, medium bodied. It's not as actually, the weight of the bourbon is not as heavy as I thought. I'm going to say this is a medium bodied bourbon. And with that though, right off the bat, a little bit of alcohol heat. Although being at 90 proof, not as much as I thought. I mean, it's there, but it's still pretty subdued. Now, what else are we getting flavor-wise? We are getting... We are getting that oak is coming through, pretty prominent too. Also, a little bit of those dried fruit notes are coming through. Also... Some sweet caramel is coming through, and it is rounded out just a hint, a slight hint of vanilla kind of rounding it out. Not too much, just a little bit. Now, I'm going to take one more sip. Why not? I got to admit, this is a really nice everyday bourbon. Absolutely. I mean, you really can't go wrong with this. You could drink it neat, maybe throw an ice cube in there, a couple drops of water would probably open it up a little bit. But on the meter, what would I give this? I mean, yeah, you could use this in a mixed drink too. I don't know why you would, but sure, you could do that. Well, I think, as I swirl, I'm going to give it one more sip, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to give it on the meter. I mean, it really does have a nice mouthfeel. Just coats your whole mouth. I'm going to give this bourbon an 8. I think I will. I'm going to give this an 8. I mean, it's got some really nice balance. It's got a nice nose. It's got nice flavors on the palate. I kind of wish the oak on the palate was a little bit dialed down, and I wish a little bit more of that vanilla was coming up to give it a little bit better balance. But, I mean, overall, it is a really good bourbon. I'm not going to lie. So good. In fact, I'm going to take one more sip. Now, That's the review of the Four Roses Small Batch Bourbon. Now, why is this a two-part episode? Well, the suspense, the wait is over. So, on the next episode, we are tasting and reviewing a beer from New Belgium Brewing. Now, this is a special limited release beer. So this beer, this is going to be their Oakspire. Now, why is this such a special release and why is it a two-parter? Well, so what this beer is, this is an ale that is aged using Four Roses bourbon cask spirals. So they're taking the spirals from the bourbon barrels and they're taking the bourbon barrel char and they're aging that with the ale here. So we are going to see how those flavors and aromas that we got, from this bourbon, how those transfer into this beer. So I invite everyone to come back and check out that episode. And yeah, I'm very excited to try this beer too. But yeah, this is a neat find. So we're going to see how it transfers over and we're going to have some more fun. And I want to thank everyone, to tune into this episode, part one of the two-parter. And with that, yeah, always check me out at the websites, which are www.pubsafapinton.com or the blog, which is www.pubsafapinton.blogspot.com. And I'm wrapping this up, and we're going to get started on the Oakspire. So with that, I'm raising my little snifter glass. We will see you on the next episode. Cheers, prost, and enjoy!